Yo. I guess I'll just talk to myself since no one wanted to request. I don't know. What's up, Hero? How are you? I'm good, man. Thanks for asking. I appreciate it. So we are Cardano. I'm Cardano over coffee, I guess, today. I did pin a tweet up top. So if you could retweet that out, I would appreciate it. Thank you, Jenny and Joker, for saving me. I appreciate you.
Good morning. Yeah, man. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing great, man. I was jamming out to that. I found that jazz playlist on YouTube and was jamming this morning and was like, oh, I got to play that for the opening of the show.
I like it. That was pretty. I like the whole vibe to it. That's a good choice. I mean, not that I didn't like the song that BlockJock was playing, but that was a little too much of a downer for the beginning of the day.
That was like slow-paced Metallica. I don't think that goes together. Like, if you're gonna listen to Metallica, it's got to be fast-paced, right? Like, I don't know.
I mean, it's cool. I mean, but it was definitely a little on the emo side for the morning.
Oh man, Rare Evolution, August 2023, Gaylord Rockies.
August is locked in. We're ready to party, man. This is going to be amazing. We're doubling the stages. We are doubling the art. We're going to blow this one out of the water for sure. This is going to be an amazing time. Again, I'm actually writing some stuff right now for some people and taking some meetings.
I wanted to ask you this yesterday, but you had left. You're a busy man, which I totally understand. Rare Bloom 2022, you got shot in the nuts. Does it happen again at Rare Evo 2023?
Just make sure you bring a cup this time.
Yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully not. But that was absolutely hilarious, and I'm glad that clip made its rounds. Other than the fact, I think it was getting more likes than any other post. So, like, my notifications for like probably a good solid 48 hours were just on repeat of me getting hit in the nuts with a t-shirt cannon.
Leave it to the Cardano over coffee crew.
We'll make something fun happen. But I was gonna say, it's actually kind of cool that it's at the same place, because now that we've been there once, it's like I know what to expect, which is cool. How's it gonna be weather-wise now that it's a little bit earlier?
Hot. Bring your swimsuit.
It's definitely going to be warm. The pools are going to be in full effect, which will be nice. I'm really interested. It's whitewater rafting weather in Colorado, so maybe a pre-event or post-event, like real bonding event where we all almost die on rafts going down the Colorado River.
Well, I don't want to die.
I'd like to do it.
So if there's people out there that don't want to almost die, me and TCT are actually going to plan for those who like to go fishing. Anybody that likes to do fishing, there's a lot of great trout fishing out in Colorado. And me and TCT are probably going to plan a little trip ahead of time to go out and do some fishing.
Oh, boy. Well, Hero's going to be disappointed because some of the best trout rivers we have to whitewater raft to, I think.
Well, I'm okay with
I was
that.
gonna say that. Right. I'm like,
If it's okay to get the fishing, I'm okay. Like,
I mean, you can do rafting without having to do like the higher levels. I've taken my mom rafting, dude.
I've been whitewater rafting. We actually have a place called Ohio Pow, which is probably 45 minutes from my house if you want to Google it. Whitewater rafting, very fun, very exciting. I've done it before. I fell in. I've done the whole, oh shit, I'm about to die.
Yeah, sometimes almost dying can be fun.
Yeah, that's the adrenaline that really builds relationships. Like, once we all get out of it, we're like, yeah, we did it.
I just don't want to actually do like firefighter things at this event.
What about skydiving? Do they have anything for skydiving around there?
Bungee jumping would be fun.
That would be amazing. And while we were in Switzerland, we took a drive to like visit a castle like about an hour away from where the summit was. And I guess it's really well known for paragliders, dude. We saw probably like just armies of paragliders, like 5 at a time, coming off the mountains and like landing in the city. It was really cool to see.
Joker, would you go
I'll be
paragliding?
interested in that.
I was actually getting ready to say that. Yeah, that sounds like that would be awesome. Way better than bungee jumping.
Yeah, I've wanted to throw on a squirrel suit so bad. So if we could squirrel suit, I would be down.
Squirrels, dude, I love it.
Dude, that looks intense. The squirrel suit? Oh, man. That looks like that would be one of the best adrenaline highs you could ever get. Like, flat out. And then when they swing back up, oh my goodness, could you imagine what that would feel like?
You know what we call squirrels in my area of the neck of the woods?
Rats of the forest?
Tree rats. Good
What
evening.
about chipmunks?
They're too cute. Like, chipmunks are too cute to call rats. They're like mice. Mice are more cute than rats.
Okay, I think my cat agreed with you.
I'm excited though. It'll be fun for sure. I got to make sure that Rand gets shot in the nuts again. That's all. That's my goal for 2023.
Yeah, I'm stoked you're doing it at the same place. That place was so cool. And yeah, definitely want to plan like at least a few days before or after to, really explore.
Well, what days is it? What days does it actually run? Thursday is the pre-party, and then Friday, Saturday, or is it Sunday too? He's busy. No, he can't find his.
I think it was the same days. Yeah, like Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
I would rather probably stay after because flying out on a Sunday sucks ass. So I would probably stay after.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it a stay too. Like, last time, because having the back-to-back was a little tiresome, man. But this is gonna be great because they're 1 month apart, the CNFT con and Rare Bloom, which is great.
I'm
Except
thinking
for
that
if
maybe Hero should get a shot in the nuts next time, too,
No,
Like he's all amped up about it. I think the only thing that would make it better is if both him and Hero got it at the same time.
What made it great was that it wasn't planned. Honestly, it wasn't planned. So
that's the
amazing.
best part about it. Like, it was just totally poor Rand.
Wait a minute, you're telling me that wasn't planned? Because as soon as I saw the video, I'm like, oh my god, Jenny's going to shoot him in the nuts. And then sure enough, Jenny shot him in the nuts.
It's just the way things worked out, Joker.
I mean, BlockJock asked me, "Do you know what you're doing?" I said, "Absolutely not." So it's just.
It definitely wasn't planned. When you see the video, I didn't know what to do with my hands. I was like protecting my face, and in the last second, I was like, "What about my nuts?" And like my hand moves down, but it's not. It wasn't fast enough.
That was awesome. Like how you were like, "Oh no, I could have chosen differently."
It's definitely a good event, and I look forward to it next year for sure. Lots of crazy things going on in Cardano lately.
Yeah.
Really? Like what?
I was gonna say that I found out today that summon, if you stake your summon, there's a chance to win some type of lottery. Can you tell me about that, TCT? Not that that's crazy, but tell me about that.
No, it is cool though. I forgot. But yeah, somebody messaged me the other day. Every epoch, there is a random stake address selected to win the bonus. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, it looked like they were making like 100 something summon per epoch, but the lottery they were getting over 1,000. So pretty decent chunk if you hit that bonus.
I gotta go check now because I have, I'm doing that, but I don't go look to see what I've earned. So now I gotta go see if I won the lottery. But you guys were on Wallet Wednesday. Shout out to the Wallet Wednesday crew yesterday with me, Hero Pool, and Light Nation was there. Dream, Stake Pool. Hosky was there, but he had to run. He didn't have time. But the Summon platform was there, and sounds like you guys may be getting close. Does that sound right? Like, are we going to see testnet sometime soon?
Yeah, really close. Right now, it's just about making sure the UI is right. Like, we had everything pretty much ready, but they blame it on me. But we were like, wait, let's just slow down. Let's do it like perfect, right? Instead of just releasing like the voting tool, the multi-sig tool. Let's make sure the UI is right. Let's make sure that we can integrate like what we call communities, so you can manage your multi-sigs and your communities with like, either pub key addresses or even tokens. So yeah, now we're just going through a lot of UI stuff, and it should be on testnet pretty soon. And testnet should be pretty short-lived, but we're definitely like reaching. We're definitely taking teams who want to use it on testnet even. So definitely reach out. But yeah, those blog articles have some cool like screenshots and some good explanations of the features coming. So yeah, really excited.
That's awesome. And when I say crazy things happening on Cardano, I'm talking about things hitting testnet, right? You got LQ out there. Who's been playing with LQ testnet? Anybody? Ain't been out there trying to lend some test data around? I know Subcritical.
Yeah, I have.
He's down there lurking. What up, Sub?
Yeah, but have you registered with testnet coins? So you can get some testnet coins for
Tell us about
testing.
Tell us about that, Joker, for those that are testing on testnet. What's that about?
So Santos started testnet coins, and basically it's just kind of a reward mechanism for testing in testnet. Once you get so many transactions on testnet, you can go to their website and get this token called EATA, and it doesn't really have much value, but if you're on there and you're playing around, you might as well. Also on his website, like if you want to play around on the testnet, gee, sorry about the truck. You can go there, and it has a list of every testnet site. So, like Liquid's on there, Indigo's on there. Pretty much anybody that's on testnet right now, you can go there and get the web address, and it puts it all in one place. Just kind of makes it easy for you. That's so that's it.
Yeah, awesome. I appreciate that information, which I know about, but I'm sure there's people in the room that didn't know about it. So check out that testnet. It's incentivizing you to go out and test these products that are coming out on Cardano to help review them, right? So you're in essence doing nothing but helping the Cardano ecosystem. So why shouldn't there be some type of small incentive there for you? The original testnet for Cardano was incentivized. I was a staker in that incentivized testnet, and I made a shit ton of ADA. I want to say it was like 30,000 ADA. So if you do the math, when ADA was $3 technically, now me, I'm a hodler and I didn't sell, so now it's only worth 30,000 times 30 cents or whatever the price is. So there's that. Don't be like me.
Don't be like that part of you because you're awesome. I wouldn't mind being like you. Just not the part where you lose money and make stupid decisions, but I do the same.
Don't we all though? But as long as you learn from that mistake or that
That's
decision,
what I'm saying.
which I
Actually,
usually don't. So
the important thing is that the cool thing is that we can make those mistakes ourselves now, which we can learn. And the traditional financial system, you have to give your money to somebody else to play with it and make the decisions and learn on your dime. So yes, it's about learning from your mistakes.
awesome. Hey, Epoch, did you see up top? I already had a pre-pinned post. How professional was that?
Yeah, that made it really easy to share this morning.
Epoch always shows up late. He doesn't know anything about professionalism.
Right.
Yeah, that's me, the unprofessional Epoch. Just wanted to chime in and say that, Hero, I like your strategy. I had the same strategy, and I think we just got reamed by not having stable coins, because I'm sure if there were stable coins at $3, we would have probably sold some. And I know this because Nick, other Epoch, hounded me about this probably once a month. He's like, shouldn't we sell some of this ADA? And I was like, no, what are we going to get? Fucking fiat with that? Like, no, we have to wait for the stable coin and then we'll do this. And now we don't talk about it, but it was the wrong move, but I think it was a situational awareness, Hero. So you're still A minus in my book.
I appreciate that, but I agree with you a lot there, and I'm sure that a lot of other people would have took some profit too, but a lot of people don't want to take their ADA out of the ecosystem and put it on an exchange for USDC. Well, I don't, at least.
Yeah, and I don't either. I think this is why we got in the space so early, right? Is to like watch DeFi unveil. So to take all the money out now, just because or at any arbitrary point, it just seems short sighted, right? Like we're here to see the building of the ecosystem. So I'm not going anywhere, and I know Hero's not going anywhere. We may be broke and over leveraged and have a lot of bank loans and owe taxes for multiple years, but you know what? We're together and we're a family.
We have a multi-sig, so we're like kind of married.
Yeah, where does that put you? Like when you share multi-sig, what kind of relationship is that?
I don't know. They didn't put that on the tax forms. There's no how they have the checkbox. It's like, have you traded any crypto? Like they haven't said like, are you in a multi-sig with anyone? I think we're a few years away from that.
Yeah, I think we get a tax break for that, for being a couple.
Dude, I'm about to put that on when you sign up for our website. That'll be one of the questions. Are you in a multi-sig with anybody?
Everybody in a multi-sig right now, it's kind of like just winging it, right? That's how I feel. I'm feel a little rebel, like a little rebel.
Would you like to link your account with your multi-sig partner?
Are you in a multi-sig relationship?
There it is.
Oh my gosh.
The MSR, the multi-sig relationship. It's a new thing.
That's how we get the masses to accept crypto. A multi-sig relationship.
I'll be more happy. Listen, I'm not
1
gonna
to 3 years.
I'm not gonna talk shit, but I don't want to be in any relationship until I can stake that multi-sig. Sorry, TCT.
Did you read the recent Summon blog post about multi-sig?
I have not. Can you pin it or something so that I could see it?
And summarize it, since you probably wrote it.
Do you think that children are going to be raised eventually in using things like this, like both parents has to sign in decisions with their children and things like that?
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah, that seems like a good idea for kids getting into crypto. But seems like we're having a lot of leading questions.
Well, the multi-sig is so flexible, right? Like you can set it up so that you can have two signers, but it'll work with just one or the other signing. Or you can set it up for both of them to be required. So like whatever parenting style you have, you could kind of set the appropriate multi-sig settings. Seems reasonable. If you're okay with you saying no and mom says yes and it happens, then put one signer. No problem.
Check this out, Epoch, with nested scripts and time locks. You can set it to where you need mom and dad to sign off on it, but after 5 years, then the kid has the authority to sign off on transactions.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. So you could be like, we're in control of this wallet until you're 18 or 25, 35, and then you can have it. Yeah.
Or you can have it up to like
42.
15, then only one parent is needed from 15 to 18, things like that. And
I
then
like the piggy bank idea. That sounds like a great idea. My mom started me on that really early, man. She knew how to pinch pennies, and it affected me for the rest of my life. Come on.
So I've read that you're supposed to start your own business, then hire your children, and that you can pay them up to like some, I don't know, 5,000-6,000 a year, and you can put that into a Roth IRA for them because they'll be employed, and then you can do that for the duration of their like pre-adolescent life. Is that true? Can I do that? Should I do
Epoch,
that?
you were literally describing everything up until the Roth IRA.
Yes, you
With
can.
myself and my kids. That's crazy.
Yeah, I do that, but all my kid wants to buy is Squishmallows.
Well, now, but later, when she's going to need like an extra $5 or $10, it'll be a good thing she saved, because then you'll match her on something that she really wants, and boom, we've got a matching Roth IRA going in. Kind of like you're a business.
No, but do you
Kinda
actually employ them? Like, do you have somewhere that it says they're an employee?
They
and
do
get
chores.
nice. They do chores. It's a cash business, so mow the
She's
lawn, get
6.
$10, right?
She's 6, so
Slave child
Start
labor.
start
Go
her
ahead.
now. Trust me.
Child labor. Go ahead, Big Joe. Please save me.
I just want to say that I've been in a multi-sig relationship every night for the past 2 weeks, thanks to TCT and ADAL. We've been using the round table to play poker in the Discord. So that's my confession. Good morning, guys.
that's pretty cool.
When
So you guys don't have problems with people don't pay in anymore?
And wait, I haven't
Yeah,
been invited to this. What's going on, man? No
that's your
invite and
invite.
no
That was your
RSVP.
invite.
Come on, man.
Hold on,
God.
I thought
You don't see
roundtable
him.
meant something different.
HR just called.
HR just... You're in trouble, Epoch. HR called.
He is HR.
Oh, okay. Well, the boss. That'd be his wife. HR's boss.
I have an infinite number of strikes. This is the best position I could have received.
Actually, this is kind of cool. Like for those who don't know what, like, that's a good use case. How do you guys use Roundtable for poker?
Everyone puts in 100 ADA or NFT with a floor price of 100 ADA, takes a seat. Whoever wins, Van from Weed signs off on it, or me. I think either me or him or Willie Boy could sign for it once we got the address of the winner.
oh, dude, Joe, this
What
reminds
platform
me.
are you using?
I need a little help here. He just said round table, but I know that wasn't your question, BlockJock. But Joe, if you ever feel, or Weed, or Willie Boy decide on maybe writing up a little article about how you use Roundtable, why, and what it does for you, I would greatly appreciate it. And I think we can even get ADAL to incentivize it.
See, Hosky has one with Juxtaposition, and they do one on Poker Now. I've yet to attend, but the offer is there, and they got a little Discord stuff like that. So you guys using Poker Now, or what are you using as the poker part of the platform?
Well, Discord a few weeks ago dropped this new feature where you could launch different activities that are different games, poker being one of them. But they have chess and checkers and soccer and YouTube watch parties and
Yo,
all
I'll
kinds.
straight fuck you up in some checkers, kid.
I'm down.
Big Joe learned from the masters playing like chess, right? You're good at chess, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty good at chess. There's some European dude going around in the spaces whipping everyone's ass in chess, and I had to defend America. And I beat him like last week. It felt good.
Nice, man. Way to go.
He was all
Yes.
surprised. He was all surprised the stoner beat him. I'm like, what do you think I was doing in prison? All that mirrors, just fucking laying down like I was playing chess, playing poker.
Dude, I mean, everybody underestimates you, and then you just bring the rain and you whip their ass. So, Lido is a perfect example of that as well. Got his ass beat as well. So, I don't put any money against you anymore.
I just want to apologize for making a bad joke earlier. I was supposed to say kitchen table, not round table. Totally botched the joke. Now no one gets it.
Nope.
No one got it the first time, and now everybody's really confused.
Kitchen
wasn't even
tables.
here, and I'm confused,
Kitchen tables,
so.
that polyamorous format where you're okay with your partner's partners coming over and hanging out at your kitchen table. Now you know.
What?
Did you just turn into BlockJock on me? Like, what happened?
I'm just dropping
Sounds like-
facts. These are facts.
sounds
These are
like-
just word
did you go-
definitions.
Did you go Mormon? What's going on?
Mormon?
Yeah.
You know,
Polygamy.
I worked with
I
some
mean-
Mormons at NASA, and they were some of the wildest people I've ever spoken to. If you're Mormon,
Well,
come
yeah.
up and let's talk about creationism, because I got questions.
That's always a great discussion.
This guy was literally looking at Jupiter particles and investigating literally how old the Jupiter particles are. And then when I said, so how old are these particles? He's like, oh, X, billions of years. And I was like, okay, but what about Earth? Well, that's 4,000 years. I was like, you don't see a problem with this? He did not.
No, there wasn't like a moment of clarity for him. You're like, oh fuck.
No, he's
I've been
sitting
going
there
at this all
working
wrong.
in the. It's phenomenal. It's just, yeah. This is why I'm not a huge religious organizational person, is because you get people to believe wild shit.
Roll a card on
I
it.
don't know, but I saw you singing at a church last night.
Thank you, Jenny, for this segue. That's working so hard for it. So we have a video of Cardano over coffee attending church. I don't know, Jenny, if you've posted it.
I have it, but I can't. Let me do it.
I almost
What is
pissed
going on?
laughing last night. Well, BlockJock, if you would come into the Cardano over coffee chat once in a while and hang out with us,
I do.
you would know these
what
things.
What are we talking about? Don't tell people I don't go in there. I do go in. I'm in there all the time. Sometimes.
Yeah, what, once a year?
No, I do decent, but I did miss this video, so now I'm intrigued.
There was like 8
That's for
videos.
sure.
What are you talking? You missed all of them.
Oh, I seen the one where someone was rubbing lotion on your skin and looked somewhat like a phallic
Jenny.
symbol.
That wasn't Jenny. Come on, dude. You're like 3 weeks behind, BlockJock.
Yeah, apparently I am right now. Well, I am older, so there's that. It comes with age. Sometimes life starts to move way too fast for you. I'm testament to that.
So we do have a guest coming up at 10 o'clock, and it's Soundrig, so we're going to talk some music. I don't know who's all here from Soundrig, but if you're down there around hanging out, could you request, please? I would appreciate it, so I didn't have to try to find you. Yeah.
Makes me curious, man. Is it something where it integrates? Because I know with iRig, it was something where I could literally play my guitar on my phone and have all kinds of different effects, pedal effects and shit like that. So I'm curious if Soundrig is similar. I have not done any investigation.
Well, you're about to find out, fool.
Nice. Love it.
Yo, what's up?
What's going on?
Yeah, hey, this is Quentin. I'm CEO of Soundrig, man. How you guys doing this morning?
Good, Quentin. I'm Hero Pool behind the coffee cup. So good morning. First question, we got to get out of the way. Obviously, if you have other people here with you, please tell them the request. They're more than welcome to come up. But the first question is do you drink coffee? And if so, how do you drink that coffee?
I gotta say, I'm a really bad person to talk about this because I don't drink coffee. I don't drink. I'm a boring person for drinks, man. I gotta say, I just try and live off the water.
You don't drink anything?
Live off the water.
Oh, okay.
Water and milk. Gotta
And
keep
you're
my
in
bones
the-
strong.
You're in the music industry? Come on. You're bucking the trend right now. Give me a break.
Or I'm a trendsetter, dude.
What about Red Bull?
There it is. There it is right there. I like it.
Any performance-enhancing liquids?
Dude, the only one you need is water. It lubricates everything you need.
He's not putting Cialis
It's a
in his
good
water. What's the
thing.
matter with you, Epoch?
Hey, did you know that coffee is water? So I'm okay. I'm doing great.
I heard it's the majority water. Coffee is 98% water. So
Yeah, easily.
You're good.
I mean, come
We're
on.
not coffee shaming anybody. Water
No.
is perfectly fine.
Water is
Yeah, I
actually
mean,
great.
tea's much better than coffee anyways.
Oh, somebody removed Joker. Anyhow, Soundrig.
anyhow. Well, GM, good to have you.
Shots. Uh-oh, somebody let Nick Screens in here. Shh, don't tell anybody. Soundrig,
Shit.
please, let's calm down there, BlockJock. Deep breaths. We're gonna let Soundrig tell us how they got into crypto, and we're gonna talk about their music career and what they're doing in Cardano. So please. So please, if you want to just tell us a little bit about how you got into crypto and then what Soundrig is up to, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Sorry, I dropped my phone and then my computer broke, and yeah, things happened right now. Yeah. So, how did I get into crypto? I mean, when I was in college, so I'm 29. When I was in college, I was really interested in Bitcoin. I took the risky decision and I bought 3.5 Bitcoin at $100, and everyone was judging me. And then I forgot about them, and then a couple years later, I sold them for like $3,000, and I was so happy. And then obviously now I'm not. But it was always just something very interesting to me, an alternative to the current system that we have. Kind of hope in the dystopian kind of capitalist future that I always envisioned. And it kind of seemed like it was an outlet that we could innovate and change the game. And on top of that, so I'm a classically trained violinist. I did violin for 8 years. I played in an orchestra for 6 years. And unfortunately, I hung up my violin pretty early when I was 15 or something, to pursue sports. But I've always loved music so much, and I've always wanted to create music. And how I got into Cardano and how Soundrig kind of came to be is that last summer, when NFTs were really going crazy, any project was selling out within an hour. I was talking to my friends, and I was thinking I could do something like this. We could do something and make $1 million. And I was like, no, fuck that. Sorry, I don't know if you guys swear or not, but if
you're good, you can
okay,
let it out.
Yeah, I was like, if I'm gonna do something, I want to do something I'm proud of, and something that will do good, and be kind of a game changer in some sense. And so then I just was brainstorming ideas, and I was thinking about the music industry, and something that's always bothered me with NFTs is I feel like they're extremely underutilized with PFPs. And I think it's actually been very detrimental to NFTs, because I think the technology has so much potential to do crazy things. And anyway, so I was thinking well, NFTs just seem like they could be a digital, collector's album or something, which is still, even to this day, is a huge business. There's Discog, which does 100 million in revenue every year, just reselling albums, vinyls, CDs, records. And it's still a huge business, and it's an opportunity for musicians to kind of have creative freedom and earn a really good salary for the music they create. So anyway, basically for a year, 9 months, I was working on another project. And then I did a charity concert when the war in Ukraine started. And that was Cardano for Ukraine. I did that with Tobias, who is the CEO of Leaf Agency. And we were able to raise money for, I think, 32 families to survive in Poland for a week. And we put this charity concert together in under 2 weeks' time. We had 6 performers from Cardano who submitted performances. It was a really, really cool experience, and I was really proud of it. And then after that happened, I kind of was thinking about things, and I pitched the idea for Soundrig to Tobias, because Tobias owns Leaf Agency and is a web development agency. And he was like, you would not believe it, there's a dude from Endmaker who pitched me almost the same idea this week. And I was like, that is incredible. And like, stars are aligning. And anyway, so that's how I ended up meeting Sunny and Tobias, who are us three are the co-founders of Soundrig. And I mean, within 2 months of that, like meeting Sunny, we had the MVP NFT media player up and running, and we were testing it out and troubleshooting. And I mean, now it runs pretty well. There's still problems, but it's running really well, and our team is expanding. And there's just so much motivation with the team. It's awesome. We have Theoscape, who's joined the team about a month ago. Theo, maybe. And yeah, he's just been bringing so many sick ideas to the table, and we have 8 releases currently. We have, I think it's 3 Web2 musicians that we onboarded, including one like the biggest trap artist from Tanzania, and we did 4 releases with some Web3 artists that most of you probably know, like Theoscape, Crime Fighters, Philsville, and we worked with Cardano proxies with their community to do a release. And then we just recently did the release with the listening room for Angel Baby Hit Squad and Demon Hit Squad, their album that they just released. So yeah, that's pretty much it, I think.
Yeah, so can you tell me exactly what is Soundrig? I think maybe some explanation on that side. What actually is Soundrig?
So Soundrig is like the initial plan for Soundrig is it's a music platform for musicians to excel and succeed independently. And we're doing everything possible. So we're doing like a launch pad. We have the media player, and we're working on a music marketplace. But going further, we are really trying to build like a alternative music ecosystem, like a very viable alternative to the traditional music industry for musicians. We are planning. I mean, we work with Vic from the Hidden Order. He's our head of entertainment. So like we're doing live events for musicians to help get exposure, to help have those experiences. We're working with Reach Metaverse. We're going to be putting on like virtual concerts. We're working on a kind of non-for-profit charity that will help get musicians access to like recording equipment and resources that they'll need to record properly. For instance, the group, we're working with a refugee camp in Kenya, and that was like the first thing they said is like, can you guys pay for like a recording studio? And unfortunately at this stage we can't, but that's where we want to go, is to help facilitate musicians to get their music there. And essentially we're just really trying to build like a music loving ecosystem that is leveraging like the positives of blockchain technology to fix the problems with the current music industry.
Okay, so that's kind of the artist side. As somebody who wants to use this music, what is Soundrig? So I want to be a customer of Soundrig. What is Soundrig to me?
I'm thinking of it as like iTunes version 2, like 2.0. But next version of iTunes, the next version of Spotify. It's going to be a place that you're able to buy, sell, listen to your music, support the musicians that you love in a way that is impactful on their life, and opportunities such as like concerts and virtual concerts, live video with the musicians, a more intimate experience with your favorite musician that's on Soundrig. It's I think it's going to adapt a lot and it's going to change moving forward because it's really hard to predict where things are going. But the goal is that it's going to be like the next step in music entertainment, and it doesn't even have to stop at music. It could go to, you know, cinema and stuff.
But do you like going? I'm sorry to just kind of interject here, but going back to what you said kind of like iTunes and Spotify, but they're very different. Like iTunes came up with their own audio file, right? So are you guys doing like, are you having your own token that works only in your ecosystem? Is this just like welcome to any tokens from outside? How does that work?
So both, actually. So like our media player, the goal is that it's going to be like as inclusive as possible. It's going to, it already is compatible with any music NFT that you might buy on chain, and we're actually moving cross chain so that we can bring in, you know, other chains to the listening experience. And the music that we are publishing is actually encrypted. So our NFTs, if you go to pool.pm, you can't access the files. If you go to IPFS, you can't download the files. And they're only available on our media player. And so the intention with this is that it's not that the music is exclusive, that we're encouraging our musicians to put out, you know, on all platforms, but it's the additional content that comes with the NFTs that we're selling is what we want to keep exclusive, so that these are like collector's edition versions of their song. And I mean, just with our first series, there's things like the stems for the song. There's exclusive behind the scenes videos. There's how the musician made it. There's exclusive airdrops related to the tunes, as we're calling them. There's exclusive songs that are only on soundrig that are from musicians. There's a lot of possibilities with this. So I don't know if that answered everything you wanted.
How? So you mentioned you have your own player. How would you compare your media player to, let's say, Winamp?
I mean,
Did you just Winamp?
I did say Winamp.
Like, how old is he to know like what's Winamp?
yeah, yeah, you're. I'm too young for that. But so if you check our media player, it looks very similar to like YouTube music, and that's intentional. We designed it to be familiar to formats that people already are consuming, but we wanted it to act, because right now, like, I've been buying music NFTs for a year, and I hated listening to them because you have to go to pool.pm, you have to buy, you have to like open a separate tab to listen to each song. And, you know, it was to the point where people were making like media player NFTs, which I think the solution is just to develop a media player where all your NFTs are listed, all the songs are listed, and yeah, so that's what we did. Like you load up your wallet, all the songs with all the NFTs with multimedia files will should be queried so that they come up and they display in the media player, and they should be able to access them no problem.
I think Mixed Greens had a question first, and then Anima, and then Newt.
Yeah, what's going on, Soundrig? So it's crazy. We were actually talking about like something like this last night, like me and Newt. So are you token gating, where it's like you need the NFT to access the platform to get all of this stuff, or are you just like directly selling NFT/FTs to the customer through your platform? Like, does the question make sense, or do I need to kind of reword it?
I'm going to answer it how I think, and you let me know if that answers your question. So the media player is free. If you have any NFT that has a song, like a song from Six City, it's specifically like Six City, all his NFTs work. We've been working with Six City from the very beginning to make sure that his stuff works beautifully. Like we want to be as compatible, as inclusive. So any musician that launches on Cardano, we want them to have their songs playable on our media player. That's a really big thing for us. But we are token gating it for the songs that we release, and that's because of the utility of our tokens. The intent is that we are ensuring the musicians who are releasing with soundrig are getting paid for their music, because right now, I mean, I did it last night to make promos for this giveaway we're doing. You just go to the NFT. You don't necessarily need to even own it. I do own these NFTs, but you just go and you can download the MP3 or .wav file, and I mean, you could do that to your friend's wallet. So that's technically pirating music. So the way that we've done it is I mean, it's not foolproof, but we're doing things that no one else has done in the sense that we are protecting the music of and the content of the NFTs that our musicians are releasing by encrypting it, so that you can't do that. You literally cannot download the files from our NFTs. And it looks like they're broken when you look at them on pool.pm, but it's just because of the encryption. But when you go to our media player, they work fine. I don't know if that answered your question or not.
That does. On JPEG Store, are there any like songs that is actually encrypted through you guys? Like, I just want to see what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, if you go, yeah. So I'm actually just checking right now, because there's 8 collections that are up. So if you just type in tune, so TUN3Z, all of our tunes, because that's what we're calling them, and the reason for that, so I'll explain that. Tunes are what we are calling the music NFTs, and that's because we want to actually move away from the term NFT, because we've done a lot of testing with people who aren't in crypto, and a lot of people have very negative perceptions when you say NFT, preconceptions, whatever, because all they know are, pieces of art, quote unquote, that are selling for huge amounts of money, and the claims that there's money laundering, and there's just a lot of negative press around NFTs. So
I'm just gonna say that the same thing happened with the word internet, just so you know. And a lot of people are terrified of that. And in the end, you don't really have to stop using the word NFT. People will understand it eventually. Just putting it out there. Nobody stopped saying internet, and there was a time where people were terrified of that word.
Yeah. No, I'm sure it's just the choice that we're doing is to try to distinguish at this moment, because presently that's the sentiment. You are right. That could very well change, but we also do feel like it's like the underlying technology, and it's not necessarily descriptive of the product that we are trying to sell. So we just have tried to coin our own term, which is tunes. So Web3 tunes, and that's why there's 3 in there, music tunes. And yeah, I don't know if I don't even actually remember if there's a question.
So does that work? Like basically, you can only play it on your on your player. Is that how it is? Kind of like how iTunes did with their MP4s.
Yeah. So the goal for us is that we're going to be releasing a mobile app as well, because we are very aware that a majority of the world only has mobile. So yeah, the goal is that we are going to be releasing like a mobile media player NFT wallet marketplace thing. That's our goal. So yeah, but again, our NFTs will play on our player, but it will also be inclusive to eventually as many chains and NFT musicians projects as possible.
And Jenny, because I'm looking at the NFT right now, so it looks just like a regular like music NFT, but then everything's encrypted. Like when you press the play button, it doesn't play. I tried to download the album cover, and then it just gave me some document file that leads to nothing. So, like, I mean, you did a good job in encrypting it.
I'm not going to take credit, man. So the genius behind that is actually Nan, the guy who developed NFT Jam. Phenomenal developer, the entire media player and that whole encryption process. So he's big shout out to Nan.
So the next hand, anime.
Hey, I try to understand it a bit better why or how you use NFTs. Is it so did I understand correctly that you have to own the NFT in order to listen to the song, and you also have to use your media player? Is that correct?
Yep. And I know that sounds a bit inconvenient, but it's intentional to ensure that the musicians are being compensated appropriately for their music.
But and what are my benefits when I own music, except that I can listen to it and get insight, or is the main benefit that I get insights into the what you said behind the curtain and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure this is the additional content is going to evolve as more musicians experiment with this. But yeah, so the concept is like you can go to Spotify and whatever streaming service you want to listen to their songs, but this is intended to be kind of like a spot for collectors who are really passionate or big supporters of their musicians. Because I mean, if you go to like Spotify, I don't remember the exact numbers, but to earn $1,000 from Spotify, musicians need to have something like 300,000 or 400,000 streams. And from sales with Soundrig, we are giving 70 to 80% of revenue to the musician. So you do a collection of 100 NFTs, and you can make more than 300,000 or 400,000 streams. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. But you also, if I use Spotify and I pay for it, I pay for the whole streaming service, and I also can't just listen into songs I don't know. And so on your platform, I would have to have bought it in order to. So is it more like really focused communities of the artists?
So currently, yes. But we are actually building out a streaming service that's intended to help discoverability of music and encourage people to, follow and support the musicians that are airing. And what we are doing is we're building out a radio so that the music from Soundrig will actually be able to be played, in your browser, and that way you will be able to see, like, there's musicians you might never have heard of, but when you select EDM, you'll see them and you'll discover it.
And okay, and my last question, that's nice about the radio, I like that. And my last question would be, you said about community building. Is your community like just around Soundrig, or do the communities also just form around the artists? Or is it like just is it becoming a network?
I'd say it's a network. We're trying to build up with the music community. We are working every day with musicians from Cardano and from Web2, and we're trying to uplift everyone and integrate it in a fashion that everyone's community will kind of come together, because the goal is that we're going to have a community of like music lovers, so people who will be buying for the music and not necessarily as a like investment. I'd actually, sorry, I'd just like to take this time just to let Theo introduce himself too. Sorry.
Sure.
Hello, everyone. I don't want to take Nude's place, but if you allow me, I'm Theo. I'm into the hospitality business for a few decades, and an electronic music producer and engineer for almost 20 years. Acting as a CMO on Soundrig, and I would like to say some details on what Quentin said earlier. So the goal of Soundrig is to create an experience for the older people. Since you mentioned Winham, you would remember when you were hunting down for that special vinyl or special CD or the DVD with all the extras. That's exactly what we're trying to do with our NFTs. So it's not just a song. You are buying the NFT in order to unlock all of these goodies that they're coming with the NFT, which it might be anything that the musician can provide. It could be a video. It could be behind the scenes pictures. It could be a diary. It could be a poem. It could be anything they want to contribute on their releases. We want to empower the music community in total, and we want to collaborate and work with most of the people on Cardano. And while when we expand on other chains, we will look to work with other guys that are doing music stuff on other chains as well. That's why, as Quentin said, we plan to create tools in order for the musicians to market and have a bigger exposure. And we really want them to use them. Some of these tools are right now, we have released a digital magazine, which is dedicated on the musicians. And we think that it's an incredible platform to create a better connection with audiences, and a bit more personal, if you want. We are doing a podcast, which is basically a round table with the musicians, and we hear their concerns, and we discuss, and we are brainstorming about the future, like all of us, because we are building as we go. No one knows the future, right? And at the end, we're all in this together. So yeah, we want to have this connection with the musicians and the community as well. That's why we have our Discord, which is open for everyone, or our Twitter accounts that anyone can reach out and ask any question. We want to make Soundrig more accessible, so we are doing the application. As Quentin said, we're doing a marketplace, which is going to be like, I'm not going to say Spotify, because Spotify is based on streams. It's more like iTunes, so you will have the opportunity to buy, sell, and play the music, as Quentin said, encrypted, which helps from theft mostly. Another reason why we chose the term tunes, it was because of this exact characteristic. Let's say we want to differentiate the normal NFT, the normal music NFTs, from our encrypted NFTs. So when someone said, "I've minted a tune," they know that it comes from Soundrig. It has a branding aspect, if you want. Yeah.
So Theo, I appreciate it, but we're running short on time, and I need to be respectful of our next guest. So if I can get the nudes question, and then I'll let you guys kind of wrap it up. I do have one question about the team, and then we'll wrap it up. Nudes, if you can please.
Hey, thanks a lot. Good morning to everybody. Cardano over coffee. I'm just going to pin up the pinned soundrig tweet from their timeline if you want to check out current mints going on. And then they also looks like they have a cool giveaway going on, so check that out if you want to have some fun. Speaking of fun, I'm really into all of this different stuff. I love the musical innovation, so congrats on where it's going. And I saw some of the earlier stuff a few months ago. Really excited to hear these updates. There's a really cool platform I'm a fan of on the Banano community called Jungle TV, and basically it's like a big community playlist, and you have to pay Bananos to enqueue your video, and everyone who's watching gets paid out however much Banano it costs you to put that thing to the front of the line. And I'm curious to know, have you thought about making like a community jukebox like that? You know, if you have a native token, you could make it so that I have to pay 100 or 420 or however much to play my song next, and then all of the listeners would get paid out evenly, kind of thing. I feel like if you have a native token, it could be a great use case for it, a good demonstration of the platform, and a good community building tool. Perhaps using things like the Cardano tip bot on Discord. I know Hosky rains Hosky to thousands or hundreds of people who are in the chat, and I feel like a platform like this from you guys could be a really cool and interesting thing.
Yeah. Oh, Theo, you want to answer, and I'll fill in.
Yeah, sure. That was an amazing recommendation, and thank you very much. We are actually in the process of doing something like that. In the beginning, we want to implement it on our online radio, that we will play Web3 music, and we will add a function that anyone that likes a song or an artist, they can tip them in on the spot. And we will also implement this on our marketplace. Quentin, I don't know if you want to say something more specific about it.
I mean, that actually is very similar to how we intend or have been thinking about going about the like radio, because I think it's a really cool opportunity to discover and engage with the audience. So yeah, that's totally. I'm looking at it right now. Jungle TV looks really cool. I've never heard of it, and thank you very much for that.
I would suggest looking into a project called DMU.
Yeah, we talk a lot with session
okay.
crew. Yeah,
like he's building a kind of jukebox thing, I believe. So
I think it's moved away. It's moved away more to like music integrating record labels. It's kind of complicated, but yeah. I've had a couple big conversations.
Well, that's cool that you know you're into talking to all the other projects that are involved with music. That's a good sign, right? That you're trying to integrate together. I have one question: how many people on your team? And then if you just want to kind of wrap it up and give kind of, if people want to get involved with Soundrig, what do they need to do?
Yeah, so the founders, Tobias has actually stepped down to maintain the Leaf agency. So it's Sunny, myself, Theo, Vic, Paul, who's our developer on team, and Nan, who's the like backend developer. And then Theo's brought on Philsville and Miss Archella for the poem aspect of the project, which is the Proof of Entertainment magazine.
I was kind of thinking developer, so it sounds like you have two on your team. So that's kind of what I was looking for. I appreciate it. Anything you want to kind of wrap up where people can go and get involved with Soundrig?
Yeah, I mean, please engage with our Twitter. We're doing giveaways every day until Christmas to support the Cardano music community. We're working with a lot of projects. So our Twitter, we are also, we have a Discord, we have a website. All the links are available on the link tree of our bio. There's the website where you can, check out the media player. We also have a demo function, which again is filled with like hundreds of songs that are all from musicians on Cardano. So every time you load up the page, it will display 10 new tracks. It randomly displays which ones to play. So you can just go spend a couple minutes, refreshing your page, seeing who's on Cardano music. And so yeah, I'd say check out soundrig.io. Come join our Discord, and keep your eyes peeled for our Twitter account.
Appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by and letting everybody know what you're up to. Sounds like a lot. I'll be following along. I love music, all types of music. From hell, I listen to everything. So it'll be nice to follow. I love. Ever since NFTs came out, I always thought, this is a great use case for art, but there's so many other use cases, and we're starting to see those other use cases start to hit the Cardano blockchain, which is very exciting. So again, thank you for your time. Please, whenever you have some major updates, stop back, let us know. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And I wanted to just say thank you very much for having us.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you guys. And with that being said, if you can get my funds off of Celsius Network, I will pay you half of them. So if you can get those funds off of there like within the next 3 weeks, I'll pay you half of what I have on Celsius Network. So since you can't do that because I'm an idiot and left my funds on a centralized exchange, you should learn from my mistake and take your funds off an exchange. Since you're taking your ADA off the exchange, you might as well stake it to a stake pool. You got Epoch Pool over there. I'm Hero Pool. You got Lido Pool. You got the Summon ISPO. Jenny got a secret pool, but you can't stake there, so shh, don't tell anybody. We are going to be moving into our second guest. I think Jenny might have had something to say before we moved into Shareslake, and we're going to talk stable coins. So, Jenny.
Yes, two things. One, on the Celsius note, make sure that you make your claim. I think you still have time to make a claim for your money with Celsius. I guess part of to see what you're going to get back if you get anything back. So just putting it out there.
Just FYI for everybody.
What?
I said I have done that, just FYI.
Okay, cool. Yeah, for anybody out there that didn't know.
Well, on that, my understanding from reading everything was that you only have to make a claim if it's different than what was emailed to you. So I think they've emailed out everyone affected, and they've listed what assets you had. So I think there's no action required if that summary is accurate.
Just check your email.
Actually, that's cool to know. I didn't know that part. Okay.
Check your email and see what it says and follow those instructions is what I would suggest.
Sounds good.
Alex Mashinsky's asked about this because my money's out of Celsius, but they got my mama money tied up in there. So it's real smoke behind that.
Okay, and the second thing I wanted to say to reset the room before Nexus is I pinned up at the top the proof of worship from our Cardano Over Coffee crew. If you want to check it out when you get a chance, it's up there.
You can laugh at us. Trust me, you'll laugh, and it'll be a good time. So our next guest is Shareslake, and they're trying to do is build a fully stable branch of the Cardano ecosystem. So Shareslake, who do we have behind the PFP?
Hey guys. Hi guys. Thank you very much for having us here. I actually listen to space like 3 or 4 times a week, so it's a pleasure to be here. I had no idea that you had to register, that you could register into your Linktree. So yeah, thank you very much for telling us that. And I'm Miguel. I'm the founder of Shareslake actually. Shareslake is, as you said, we are trying to build a fully stable branch of Cardano. We are building from a stablecoin, which is fiat-backed, to a sidechain, which is actually a Cardano network bootstrapped from Genesis, running in parallel to Cardano mainnet and communicated through a bridge where you can move assets. Yeah, that's more or less what we are building. Why we are building this is basically because stablecoins, of course, stablecoins are required in the ecosystem, but also there is a use case in which we are interested, which is tokenizing real-world assets. To tokenize real-world assets, well, not to tokenize, but the people which is interested in holding real world assets. This can be like houses or tokenized buildings, tokenized company shares, or anything. The people interested in holding that traditionally have no, they don't want to be exposed to the typical volatility of the crypto space. The current problem is that in any blockchain in the market, in any network, you need to host a volatile asset in order to transact those kind of tokenized assets. So let's say you want to transact some some tokens representing a house, and you still need to host, for example, in Cardano, you still need to have ADA. In Ethereum, you need to have Ether. In any network, you need to have, obviously, the network base coin to create a transaction. That's the reason for us to be building the sidechain, in order to allow people to deploy applications out of the box. Not writing an entire blockchain ecosystem from scratch, which is probably something we could not do it. We are taking the Cardano code base and we are deploying. Well, actually, it's lived since May. Our network is lived since May. We basically took the Cardano code from GitHub. We did some small modifications and we deployed a parallel network to Cardano mainnet. So people can deploy applications without changing any single line of code, just on-chain and off-chain applications. And yeah, that's more or less what we are building. We have then the fiat-backed stablecoin. I know it's currently not pegged in the DEXs. We can talk about that later. But yeah, it can be minted and redeemed from our dashboard. We are also trying to get fully licensed before reaching more people. Currently, we are registered as money service business in the United States. In Europe, we are partnering with other entities, but probably in the future we will be also trying to get our EMI license. Yeah, that's more or less what we are building.
Could you touch just briefly on what changes you made to the code? I know you said they were minor, but could you just, what needed to be changed at all?
Yeah. Well, the Cardano mainnet has, well, any Cardano network has basically two main parameters that you need to change in order to deploy a network that does not conflict with the main one or the testnets, which are the network IDs and the network magics. For example, well, that's mainly what you need to modify. Just modifying that, you can deploy a network. Then in the side of, in the side of naming binaries and all that stuff, you need to change other things, but those are minor things, not really important.
Thanks. TCT, you were going. Sorry to jump ahead.
Can you repeat that? I don't think.
TCT. He was telling TCT to go, but I don't know if TCT's there. He might have got rug pulled.
So how many developers are working on this right now?
Yeah. Well, basically, full time it's only me actually, because we have not been funded. We have been running. Actually, we are running in Cardano for a year now. Something, a year or a year and a month, more or less. Yeah, I started this while I was still working at VMware, the infrastructure giant. So I come from a DevOps perspective, and basically I have dedicated my career to automate infrastructure deployment to the cloud. During that time, I also played with blockchain stuff, the typical deploying Bitcoin nodes, trying some applications, then doing the same in Ethereum, doing the same on Cardano, just playing around. But yes, about the team, currently full-time, it's only me. I quit my full-time job in June, actually. and I'm fully dedicated to this right now. Also, we have some other guys, like 3 guys, that they still need their full-time jobs to continue living. So they help basically.
And I guess you said you've been running for over a year. What has been the primary challenge in growing the dev team or getting more people to help drive this forward faster? Are you finding resistance in the market? Are you finding lack of devs? Seems pretty,
Yeah, well,
what's going on?
No, well, actually, the biggest problem to find devs right now. Well, I have not been looking for devs strongly, but now we want to start doing so. But the biggest problem is that I don't want to have people in the team that cannot be like fully committed because they have to be worried about being able to pay their bills. So what I was trying to do basically was to let's demonstrate that we can build what we are saying we are going to build, then try to raise some funds, and then build a team that can be fully committed to this without needing to be worried about paying their own bills. That's more or less the mindset we have.
Got it. So it sounds like a funding difficulty. You don't have cash to give people.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, since this is self-funded, I cannot pay the salary of like 2 other devs, So the idea is let's build everything that we can build, demonstrate that we are able to build this, and then we can raise funds. That's that's also what we are doing now. We have built a lot of stuff which is running fine. Now we want to start to raise funds and growing the team basically.
So, TCT, you made your way back up here, sir.
Yeah, sorry, I got rugged, so I might have missed a lot. But my kind of point in question was like, obviously, I'm sure you're aware with fiat-backed stablecoin, there's going to be a lot of scrutiny. So, what tools, like, how are you using the blockchain, and like, what are you using to bring legitimacy to what you're doing, like legitimacy and trust around the reserves, around minting and burning? How are you using the tech to do this?
Yeah, well, basically about the reserves and so on, we have currently a dashboard in our website where we update, not every day actually, but every 2-3 days we update the state of the reserves, the state of how the RUSD, which is our stablecoin, is distributed between the Shareslake sidechain and Cardano network, because it can be minted in both networks separately and redeemed from both networks separately too. In that dashboard, we update the status of everything. And also, well, our plan is to audit these reserves in a near future. And once we have everything fully set up, we want to perform periodical audits, so people don't have to trust us about the reserves state. They can trust whatever entity that will be auditing this. And yeah, I mean, about the blockchain part that you asked it. As you know, transactions are in the blockchain as fully traceable. So, well, when someone goes to our dashboard in order to mint or redeem the coins, we are forced by regulations to know who the person is. So they have to pass a KYC process in which we basically map the identity of the person with the address in order to mint and to know who has to receive the funds, which address needs to receive the funds, or which address or who is the person owning the address that burned the fund, the RUSD. But yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if that replies to your question actually, but I think that's more or less what you wanted to know.
Yeah, I mean, sort of. Yeah, like you said, like all that stuff right now depends on trust, right? People to trust you. So, like, do you plan on using open source smart contracts, native scripts, any technology, any blockchain tech to make, ensure trustlessness, legitimacy, audit.
That's actually, I mean, we have been thinking a lot about that, and it's actually not trivial to solve, because that anyone can check a blockchain address. I mean, if I give you a Cardano address, you can be sure that you can easily check that the funds that I'm telling you that the address contains are there. But it is something that doesn't happen on the traditional banking. Actually, I mean, ideally, the ideal setup will be to have a kind of oracle injecting into, in some way into the blockchain, the state of the research, so people can just check the oracle, but also that could also be like tricked, So it's really complicated to provide trust on that way, at least with the current systems. But yeah, I mean, I strongly think that if a couple of entities, or an entity or a couple of entities, audit the research state, all the processes and so on, people should be able to trust. They don't need to trust you. They don't need to trust Shareslake. They will be trusting an auditing firm.
So you have a follow up there, TCD?
No, I do not, but I don't know. I would just say, yeah, I mean, that's sort of you're right. It's sort of non-trivial, but there are a lot of sort of trivial things we can do, and to get away from that, right? Like to get away from having to trust Shareslake or an auditing service, not when it comes to the fiat reserves. Obviously, it's very difficult to do that, but when it comes to the information on the chain and the minting and burning and stuff. So no, that was great. I appreciate the answers.
I do think that we've seen a lot of, hey, we got audited by X, we're good. And, it hasn't been good. So, while I would love to take that premise of like, oh, I trust the auditor, therefore you're good. I'm never going to trust the auditor. So what are you going to do for people like me? Are you going to get multiple audits? Are you going to get more technical staff? Are you going to raise funds? Like, how do you build trust beyond a single audit?
Yeah, well, that's a really good question, to be honest. At this very moment, I think the most straight path to address that problem will be to have multiple auditors. Honestly, I don't currently know which will be another option for doing that, because if you don't trust the team issuing the stablecoin, if you don't trust the auditing firms verifying the stablecoin, maybe the stablecoin is not for you. I'm not saying that what the question. I'm not saying that the question is not important, because I think that it's really important actually, and it's one of the main problems that I'm thinking constantly about, of how to provide trust to people like you. But the real problem is that with the traditional banking system, solving that is not trivial at all. And at some point, it is really, really complicated to solve that without trusting on something at some point, because the only possibility for you will be to get the banking account number and go to the bank and check the funds. But that's not possible to do, because you cannot have like 1,000 people checking a bank account. So yeah, to be honest, I don't have a strong answer for that right now, but it's something that I'm constantly trying to think about.
Cool. Yeah, that's totally fair. I think we see companies do like proof of reserves, right, where they have somebody, third party confirm the assets. But yeah, it's not a perfect black and white situation. But let's go to some hands. Jenny, I think you're next, and then Anima.
Yeah, I'm just trying to read as a question that I got in my DMs. It's not me particularly asking the question, so I'm going to try to rephrase it. Because it's asking if you're licensed to legally operate, and if you're not, how can you legally operate without a license? It
Yeah.
also...
Yeah, as I said before, we are registered in the United States as a money service business. And also in Europe, we are working with partner.
I have a question on that real quick. Sorry to interrupt. I got a question in my DMs asking me if you were registered with FinCEN, and if so, under what name?
Yeah, we are. Actually, I got the confirmation a couple of days ago. I can provide the registration number actually. Just that it take like a couple of weeks to be updated in the FinCEN. Well, not in the FinCEN, in the BSA site to be able to find it, but pretty sure that for Monday or Tuesday it should be updated. But I will update. I mean, just to not make this so long, I will update the website, providing the registration number that we get a couple of days ago, so you can everyone check that we are registered with the FinCEN in the United States. Well, you cannot trust more than the FinCEN site.
Yeah, I'm sure it takes some time for them to update on their site. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Sorry, I forgot about the original question. If Jenny, if you could repeat it, or
other question was that if you were licensed, and if you weren't, then how can you legally operate? And then he also, part of the question also says, do your banks know what you're doing? But I've really no more elaboration on that question, so I'm not totally sure what you're asking.
Yeah, they know. They know what we're doing actually. In Europe, we're partnering with. Well, as I said, in the United States, we are getting licensed in our. I mean, we're licensing our own firm there. And in Europe, we are starting partnering with other firms in order to operate under their EMI licenses. I mean, EMI is like electronic money institution, and we're partnering with them to operate behind their licenses. But at some point, I'm pretty sure that we will be applying for our own licensing too, like we are doing in the US. I mean, those are our plans. At this very moment, we are just registered with FinCEN. That's actually why the dashboard currently does not support most of the US users, because we need to yet get the money transmitter licenses in some states. But yeah, that's more or less our roadmap for being fully regulated.
Thanks for that. That's it from on my end for now.
I would have a question about the fiat backing, because I now again went through your white paper and I just flew over it, but I couldn't find the section where you inform about where the fiat would actually be stored. Could you maybe expand on this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure to understand the question, but the fiat is basically stored in the, in a bank account under our firm name. Well, I can provide a more elaborated response. For example, we are trying to be able to open a virtual account for each user with one of our European partners, in order to allow each user to open his own virtual account that they can top up and then interact with the platform there. But yeah, I mean, the fiat is basically stored in a bank account. We are using FDIC accounts. We are basically trying to use all. I mean, to be using to be sure that all the accounts are FDIC insured. Well, if you don't know it, if FDIC is basically those accounts that are insured by the Federal Reserve until some until some amount in case the bank crashes, the Federal Reserve just like pays back some amount of the accounts. But yeah, I mean, in short, the fiat is stored in a bank account.
Okay, and do you when I mint your stable coin, do I exchange it for ADA, and you then exchange the ADA to dollar and put that in your bank account, or how does that work?
Yeah, well, we currently support 3 different methods. The first one is a bank transfer. With a bank transfer, well, just people send a transfer directly to the research. Then we also support credit card, and we added the ADA method just to make it easier for the Cardano people. Actually, using the ADA method is much more complex for us, but we know that it is easier for the people. And when people deposit using ADA, what we do is go to an exchange, change the ADA by USD, and then put the USD into the reserve. But I mean, credit card and bank transfer are actually, I think, that cheaper than the ADA part, than the ADA method, and also simpler for us.
Yeah, that makes sense. But you have a working bridge, right? Because on your webpage you can choose either Cardano or your
that's
network.
The bridge is totally different stuff. It does not. It doesn't perform any change of coins or anything. The bridge is the part of our ecosystem that allows you to move the stable coin from Cardano mainnet to our sidechain, and from our sidechain to Cardano mainnet. Currently, we are designing an extension of the bridge to support any asset. So if you have, for example, an NFT in Cardano, you will be able to move it to the sidechain, trade it in a fully stable way, and whenever you want, you can move it back to the Cardano mainnet, or an NFT that was issued into the sidechain, because people can issue tokens in the sidechain in the same way that they do in Cardano mainnet. So yeah, the extension of the bridge in the future will be not supporting only the stablecoin, but also any token. It's not an exchange of coins. It is basically locking them in a network and minting a representation in the opposite network, and allowing to destroy the representation and getting unlocked the original one.
Thank you. TCT, I think you were next, and then Epoch.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in what you mean by fully stable, like bridge assets and trade them in a fully stable way. But more interested, so did you say you were going to, or you have like posted publicly that bank account address so people can see the reserves? And if not, do you worry or have like something in place if people do get nervous and you incur like a bank run?
Yeah, well, about the first, as I said before, we have in our website a section. If you click on the menu, you will see a button for going to the reserves state, and that's the dashboard in which we update the state of the coins in both networks, and in the state of the reserves, the amount of coins that are locked by the bridge, the amount of coins that have been redeemed, and they are in the burning address, and all that. And sorry, which was the other question?
Right. That's just the dashboard, right? Like the database that you host.
Yeah, exactly. That's currently the way we provide it. As I said, in that same dashboard in the future, we will be posting the result of the audits. And yeah, that's more or less.
But not the actual account that holds the reserves.
No, not the actual account. Well, I mean, I guess you are talking about a traditional bank account number or something like that.
Yeah, where all the fiat is held. And if not, why?
Yeah, no, it's not. I mean, it's not public, I think, talking from memory, but I think it's not public. Why? Basically because you cannot check a bank account, right? I mean, if you tell me that there is a way in which you can check a bank account, knowing its account number, I will try to work around that in order to provide a higher trust. But that's the main reason.
So would you at least be willing to let us know what bank in what country the funds are being held at?
Yeah, currently they are holding the US. They are held by Choice Financial Group. Yeah.
Got it. No, it's helpful to know the jurisdiction that they're in, right? Like what the U.S.
Yeah.
government's willing to do versus the Bahamas. It may become relevant later. So it's just good to know that. So that's a U.S. bank that you're operating in, and then the FDIC insurance. I heard you mention that. Am I wrong in that they only insure up to $250K? So
no, you're not wrong. That's right. I mean, you are right. The FDIC insurance does not cover all the funds. I mean, if you have like 3 millions and the bank fails, they will not pay you back the 3 millions. But we will be trying to protect against that by using different accounts in different banks. But by the moment, the size we have is manageable. If we grow a lot, this management will probably, I mean, the complexity of this management will grow with the growing on the fund.
Mm-hmm. Could you just touch briefly on like how much activity you're seeing? I'd love to know. Obviously, you don't have to share, but how much is in reserve and what is like maybe the daily transaction volume of RUSD?
Yeah, I know more or less. Indeed, that's public information. I think the current amount of total minted is around 69,000. I think you can
69,000. That's you're not
yeah,
joking.
it's really
69,000.
yeah, actually. Okay. But
Husky,
yeah, I mean,
are you listening? I think you have a new partner.
okay, didn't know about that, but yeah. Yeah, I think that's the total amount. We have a really low transaction volume actually by the moment, but we are feeling that it is increasing little by little every week. We are seeing the increase on the volume. So, well, we know this is a long-term run. Actually, we don't want to get like a popularity explosion from one day to the other because probably we are not ready for that. So I think we are growing in a way in which we can afford any possible issues, in which we can verify that everything is working as like it has to work. And yeah, the transaction volume is really low by the moment. You can check, for example, in the dexes. I think in the past Epoch, the total transaction amount was like 200,000, but that includes. I mean, that number is not actually really representative because that includes any transaction that you do from a wallet to the other. So yeah, that's more or less the numbers we are.
Okay, yeah, and I guess I have one last question, then I'll give the mic over to Hadia. Sorry to butcher that. How are you gonna compete with like the Emergos of the world? Like I know y'all were first, and I always love to hear that. Hey, we were first. That's great. But if you're one person, or let's call it 2.5, you have 3 people. I'll call them each a half. So you have 2.5 people, and then you're going up against a Mergo that has, I would hope, more than 2.5 people. Maybe we should fact check that. But the USDA is obviously going to be a fiat-backed stablecoin. How are you going to compete with those types of players? Like, is there a strategy around that? Are you worried about that? If you could just talk about that, I'll shut up after that.
Really, really good question, actually. And of course, we are worried about that. Indeed, I was in the Cardano Summit in the presentation of USDA. It was like they describe it exactly step by step what we are building. But yeah, I mean, the good part is that I'm pretty sure that in the Cardano ecosystem there will be more than one option for fiat-backed stablecoins. That's also part of decentralization and letting people to decide if using one, the other, or if using both of them. For example, if there are 3 fiat-backed stablecoins in the ecosystem, you can like split your holdings, getting less risk, you know. So, well, of course, we're worried about USDA. They said, if I'm not wrong, that they will about to release in February. And well, of course, they have more resources than us, but what we described it was a pure fiat-backed stablecoin, like, for example, USDT. So what will happen if USDT comes tomorrow to Cardano? Probably even Emurgo will be back, you know. So what we are betting is in our fully stable sidechain. That's the part that we think that differentiate what we are doing from other from other fiat-backed stablecoins. For example, let's imagine that Emurgo comes tomorrow to Cardano, I mean USDA. We can make our sidechain. We can adapt our bridge to support RUSD, which is our stablecoin, and USDA in the bridge. For example, just imagine that you are able to move USDA through the bridge and get the RUSD as the base coin of our sidechain. That's something we can do with any stablecoin that appears in the ecosystem. So that's our strongest bet, our sidechain, basically.
Got it. Thanks.
I can't say your name, so person with your hand up. Ethereum PFP.
I was gonna say that. That's funny.
You will lose your spot in line in 3, 2, 1. Goodbye, Hadia. High five. It was nice knowing you.
Hadia Akbar, yes.
Yeah, I would have definitely butchered that. So there seems to me that the biggest conversation that I heard, I was sidetracked there for a little bit, and I apologize, was trust, and that was kind of the biggest conversation I took away from all that I've heard. Is there anything that you kind of want to finish up with, and before we let you off the hot seat?
Well, I think we have more or less talked about everything that we are thinking to provide, that we are planning to provide trust, like the audits of the research and so on. Yeah, I mean, actually, I cannot say much more than what we have been talking about, because there is not more options at the moment. So not fully sure what can I add to the trust part.
Did you say you speak about we, but you also said you were the only? Do you have any more people working with you?
Yeah, as I said, not full time, but we are like 4. Yeah, I mean, I'm working full time on this. 3 other guys are helping, like part time. We have been running like for a year and a month or so now. Yeah, this is. I mean, as I said, we are working in this way because we have not been. I mean, we didn't raise funds, so we are basically being self-funded. The team needs to continue paying their bills, and this is what we are doing, basically.
So now that you've been here and people kind of have heard about you and they want to go do more research about what you're doing so that they can, see if that's something that they want to use, where do I go to find out more about you?
Yeah, we have, well, you can go to our website. It's shareslake.com. We are trying also to record videos. We have a YouTube video where we explain everything that we have been talking here I'm not going to say in deeper because maybe we have go through every point, but we have a YouTube video where you can hear more about what we are doing. Our Discord server, you are all invited to join our Discord server, and we can continue talking there. I'm trying to reply every question and every doubt on the Discord server. Also, we are currently looking for SPOs for our sidechain. So if you are an operator in Cardano, maybe you will be interested on deploying your pool in our sidechain and earn some USD basically, because you will be earning rewards in USD. Well, you can also follow us on Twitter. We usually publish all the information and the news on Twitter. We also have a Telegram group, but actually the Telegram group does not have too much activity. We prefer the Discord one. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for taking the time out of your day and explaining what you're trying to build. And hopefully, when you come across your next milestone, you stop back and let us know what's going on. So thanks again.
Yeah, thank you to you for having us here. As I said, I usually listen the space just to hear the news on the ecosystem, because I have not too much time to be checking everything. So continue doing the spaces because I really like them actually. So thank you very much for having us here.
Oh, thanks again. So with that being said, TCT, it is your time to shine, my friend. So find your mute button, your unmute button, and let me hear that Lido minute.
Today, welcome to Cardano over coffee. This is your Lido minute with your favorite code dreamer, Darlington, from lidonation.com. This week in Catalyst, we actually had a Catalyst Town Hall meeting. They were on pause for a while. Yesterday was, in fact, a Catalyst Town Hall meeting, complete with breakout rooms where people talked in circles for hours, and it felt like home. So definitely make sure you check the schedule, register to join those meetings, and maybe even create your own breakout room. On lidonation.com, if you're a delegator to the Lido stake pool, you'll notice that you have some rewards to collect. Not only some ADA, but possibly even some indie tokens and other treats. Also, it doesn't get shilled much, but there is a Advertise for Life campaign going on at lidonation.com, where you're able to purchase an NFT to support Lidonation, and with that NFT, advertise on the new Lido Minute podcast series for life. That is that lives with the NFT and is tradable. So definitely check that out. Other than that, please get your ADA off of exchanges. We are starting to get native stablecoins now on Cardano. There's already a couple options and more on the way. So it's a lot easier to hedge and protect yourself against these volatile markets. There's also some great other SPOs to stake pool, including Hero Pool, Epoch Pool. Jenny has a secret pool. I think Subcritical even has a pool, Nudes. So many great stake pools. And that was your Lido Minute for today on Cardano over coffee.
I think he researched it because I told him yesterday he was going to be doing it.
Nope, that was off the cuff.
I think he wrote it down and just read it. Oh, Lido would be proud. So the rest of the show, we got like 10 minutes left. So if you have something you want to chat about, shout out Wallet Wednesday. I see you down there. Lido, if you want to go back and listen to that episode, me and Lido and TCT, Dreams were all on Wallet Wednesday yesterday. Jenny was there hanging out. told the story about Hero Pool and how it came about, which a lot of people don't know, even though I've publicly stated it several times. So it was an interesting show to hear from what the other people are building as SPOs. So it's definitely a great space. So check out Wallet Wednesday. They're on Wednesdays at like 1 Eastern, I think. I don't know the UTC time for that. Sorry. I guess it would be 6 p.m. UTC.
Yeah, those guys. I've been jumping into a lot of spaces with like DA and those guys. They're always doing good spaces. They have a good format they usually stick to. I like it.
Yeah, it was a whole vibe. So it was cool. Check it out. I'm sure there's a recording of it. With that being said, I don't have anything to talk about. I'm speechless. Write that shit on your calendar. Jenny got rug pulled. I'm gonna have to remove her. Because I got my other co-host Epoch. He probably got 18 children crawling up him, so he can't do things like that. Jenny, are you back? Jenny,
I'm back. Yes, I'm back. Okay. It feels weird when you're really trapped in this point where you can't, come back and you can hear and you can't communicate. It feels so weird.
Oh my god, I made it back. It's really hard being a host. You're doing something, and then you put your phone in somewhere in the house, and then you walk somewhere, and then you're like, well, shit, where's my phone?
I think you should put the spliff down, and then maybe you would remember where the
just
phone
rolling
is.
a spliff. Damn it, Hero. That's why I didn't have my phone. I was rolling the spliff. I'm sorry.
See, we are a multi-sig relationship. We know what the others are doing.
This multi-sig thing is real.
Did the Shareslake guy leave? Was it too late? Yeah, he left. I was curious how much money that stuff produces for the SPOs that might want to participate.
Reach out to him. Maybe there's a spot there for Epoch Pool, and then let me know, because maybe there's something Hero wants to get involved with too. I don't know. I need to do some research on it because it involves bridges and trust. So I definitely want to do some more research before I would indulge in minting some of that. Truthfully, just my opinion, but I like to do a lot of research on stable coins before I jump in, and especially new stable coins. It's not something easy, right? So
Like people just, do you like degen on stable coins? Do you know people that do that? Because I feel like a lot of people kind of just, don't they just serve a purpose? You shouldn't be like hoarding on them like that.
I think the problem that we're going to see, right, is in Cardano, there are no stable coins. Outside of Cardano, there's these stable coins that we've been using, and most of them are trusted, right? So they've built that trust with you. So you don't think about going and changing into a stable coin like a USDC or a Tether, right? For the most part. Some people do. Absolutely. I agree with you. However, most normal crypto users just do it without a thought process because there's that trust that's built there. Well, what you have coming to Cardano right now is all these stable coins that there's no history, there's no trust. So that's the scary part for me.
But this all FTX thing, you start seeing like all these people overly like invested in this wrapped Bitcoin stuff. I mean, I was just looking at all this stuff and it was just like, wow, like we really are not doing our own research, or what's going on here?
I think what's going on is that people don't know the risk that comes with various types of assets. It's the kind of the same trope that we've heard, for a long time, like Bitcoin is crypto. And anyone who doesn't understand, like, they equate all of crypto to Bitcoin, right? And that's not necessarily remotely true. There's 20,000 plus, or maybe 21,000 now cryptos out there. And sure, 90% of them are probably scams. That leaves 2000 that we should consider. And I think people just, rather than understand the risk, like whether it's an exchange token or a stable coin or a DeFi token, or a governance token, like to the layman, they don't know that there's a difference. So I think that's what we're really running up against, is there's a lot of people who really have no idea how any of this works. And in the stock market, they don't get ostracized for it. There's a bunch of people who have no fucking idea how any of it works, yet they know that they bought a bunch of oil or they bought a bunch of Apple share, and they don't give a shit how it works. So I think people are trying to approach crypto in the same way without realizing that, there's riskiness, depending on the token you're touching. Sorry if did that make sense?
Totally makes sense.
What I found nice is that Jarek pointed out in a DeFi panel discussion at the summit, stable coins are not stable, neither coins. I just to share a little anecdote, I live in Switzerland. We have a super stable currency, it's too crazily backed actually. We had to peg it to the euro. So the trading between Europe and Switzerland is not in the EU. We had to peg it. But actually to the downside, all stable coins need over collateralization, and so the Swiss franc is already completely over collateralized. So you peg it to something that is weaker than it. In crypto, it's just something completely new. These algorithmic stable coins, they completely rely on the volatility. I'm looking forward for what happens with chat, but I will not just jump in at the start because it has a buffer, the additional coin. But it's all just it has to prove itself. It has to establish the trust and
Wait, so you're not getting into DGED? You're not going to jump in? Because I think there's so for Epoch, there's two kinds of jumping in. There's the initial jump in, which I'll do almost blind. Maybe it's for like $200, something small. And then there's the serious Epoch buy-in, which is like zeros added to that. So are you in the like, I'm not even going to throw $100 at it until a year from now, or are you going to kind of degen with me?
I'm the person for whom $100 is quite a lot already. So no, I probably don't degen in. I just watch others.
I think that's like one of the pains is like we're like here early to use all these products that are just coming out, but then it's also like the riskiest time.
Yeah, totally.
But just like with blockchain in general, right? Like tokenomics, like everything. I mean, my journey in crypto has been like that until now. I've become more, I guess, more conservative within my crypto journey.
With great risk comes great upside. Don't follow that. That's totally wrong.
That's my investment thesis right there. So I always double down when the risk is there. So if you haven't heard me say it, I'll say it again. Wait for the 10x. Don't bitch out at 2x or 3x like Hero Pool. You want to get that 10x. Subcritical knows what I'm talking about.
That's why he's going to be waiting for years for that min swap 10x.
And it works. I made like in 2020 with that super bull run of DeFi that happened like in Ethereum. My gosh, like I made a lot of good earnings and just putting 10 or $15 and whatever. I was like, oh, here, yeah, Coinbase, just put $15 here, $10 here. I mean, literally, those were the amounts I was throwing in all this stuff. And I mean, it worked.
Degens are going to degen.
I like taking out. Oh, sorry.
My bad. No, I was just gonna say. Speaking of degens, I'm looking forward to Subcritical Space that just started.
Yeah, and
yeah, right.
I'm actually probably going to head that. I'm going to wrap this up. But he also posted to the top that Orbis has refunded their NFT sale. So maybe now I can think of them a little less as a rug pull. No, probably not. Anyhow, with that being said, TCT, anything you want to finish up with?
No, sir. I appreciate everyone. Great show.
We got to add our little hats to our coffee cup. We all need Santa hats.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but
I
it's
don't
way
have-
too scary how natural Lido looks in that video you posted, Jenny.
He does. It looks like he was born for it.
I mean, you guys do too. That was like epic. I love it. I love you guys feel like the sister, like the sister singing in the background. I freaking love it. That's like, by the way, for those who haven't seen it, like check out the video. But this is what happens every morning before we start the show. We say, we like sing a little prayer to the gods to keep your money off exchanges. So yeah, that's how it goes.
Thanks everyone for coming. Don't forget, we have a link tree on our bio.
Yeah,
with the
at
coffee
first
cup.
I thought
It
everyone
has our
was
coffee.
photoshopped except Lido. I thought it was like a
Thank
Lido
you,
video and he
TCT.
photoshopped
Thank you,
us around
TCT.
him.
Thank
And that
you,
was
TCT.
just what he does on Sundays.
Thank you. All right, TCT can close the show.
I think I'm rugged because I can't hear Epoch. I love you guys.
I love you too, TCT. Everyone, check us out Monday through Friday. Check out the coffee on the link tree. We have great testimonials from that coffee being the best coffee they've ever had. So,
No,
am I full of shit?
Coffee. It does not suck.
That's the saying. Sorry, I've already butchered the marketing slogan. But please, it doesn't suck. Check us out and see you tomorrow.
What if I don't want to leave Epoch? You can't do nothing about it.
I mean, you're holding the rug, so it's all on you. I can bullshit about MinSwap for days. Hey, I haven't harvested, actually. That's exciting.
Oh, yeah? You probably got like 30 trillion, billion, zillion MinSwap tokens, huh?
I have enough.